Beautiful hearts, welcome to day two of our quantum conversation experience. This is our time to be together with teachers who help us transform our lives. And we bring this with Viviane Chauvet this week to explore the Arcturian heritage, our Arcturianness, and the protocol of contact. This is a beautiful day for you to ask your questions with Viviane. We're also going to be here tomorrow for an integration day. But first, I want to welcome Viviane Chauvet, Arcturian hybrid. Hi, Viviane. Thank you so much for being here.
It is such a joy, Lauren, and everyone to be with you again. I love our conversation. I love our time together, and especially right now where we are. It's such changing, rapid time movement. It is a privilege for us on behalf of my star delegation to be with you. So thank you for having us.
Thank you for your star delegation to be here as well. Wow. All right, let's tune in with everyone. If anyone has any questions or concerns, like how are you feeling? I want to tune into what you said there. Things are rapidly changing. And yet there's a mission here, even stronger, to hold our light. And it really seems that I don't know what to believe anymore. Like, I don't know what to believe. And I'm a journalist, right? Trained journalist and now a spiritual journalist. I don't know what to believe in the world anymore. And so this is where, what do we believe? What do we know? We know what we know within us. And spiritual teachers have been saying this for eons. You know what you know, and it's within you. So let's start there because it's very important. I mean, okay, I don't even want to go into the things on my hand that I could count that is divisive or taking us apart, polarizing. That's the word I want to use. Um, we don't want to be polarized. We are here for unity. And so when we come up against anything, no matter what it could be a spiritual person giving us information, and that information could be making us feel a feeling that maybe is a contraction. That right there is an indication of our own truth. So as we start, I'd like you to speak about this because that's our gauge. That's our, right? That's our inner compass. And that's really what's being tested at this time, right?
Hmm. Yeah, tested is a good word, Lauren. And if you look at everything that's overlapping, you can tell
Mhm.
there's a palpable acceleration, almost like there's a movement where so much energy, concept, ideas, projection, whether it's, a biochemical response in the body through an emotion or a thought or a concept or something has been introduced in the field. So think of it this way. This is how we perceive it. Imagine the Earth. My fist is the planet Earth, a beloved blue pearl, and she's magnificent. And her consciousness is Gaia. So Gaia or the Earth as many field or very how could I say that intelligence field that layers that comprises her electromagnetic field. So you have what we see the field of communication that we call the linguistic field of the planet. We have the global consciousness field that influence each other across ponds, across time, across hemispheres, whether you are on an isolated island thinking that you are floating on your little world, you are still being affected by everything going on, whether it's the ocean grids, within it's the planetary grids, I call it the ley lines, the nervous system of the planet, her heart center, the core, everything, all these intersect field of energy and intelligence are influencing us. So what we're seeing right now, it's a bombardment of energy, whether it's emotion, thought forms, concept, maybe something is going to be put out, whether it's through AI or technology, or somebody putting videos or a new concept. Think of it as a pebble, and there's so many pebbles thrown that is being thrown into the earth pond that is affecting the field, but there's no time of integration. And so it's starting to feel very challenging to discern what it feels right, what is an illusion, or what is somebody maybe feels sincere in their ways, but they're being manipulated by either, interdimensional being or on the astral plane, or, trickster's energy or other type of beings who are just observer and they like to poke you just to see how you will respond. And there's so much all of this. So for those of us like yourself, Lauren, myself, others, or we have returned to this beautiful planet in the time of an incarnation form, they said, allowing us to reset the field, to helping you to disengage from all this stimulation. This is what we call a reversal of the artificial thought system on the planet, and retrain ourselves to return into more higher consciousness that prepare you for your light body ascension, whether it's helping you to just your body, helping your body to evolve to the point that you are able to absorb with more ease the higher refined cosmic energy that is being returned through the planet into our own field, our own nervous system, our own body structures, our DNA. All these refined light frequencies that are returning to us. And after time, what we see is that the mental construct, which is your 3D logic mind, it's so busy attempting to analyze everything. But is this real? It's not real. Well, it's for me. I need to protect my heart. So most people put their heart behind what I call the mental line, and the heart intelligence, all your essence, it's here, and then your mental mind or the 3D personality self, it's filtering out through its perception, its limited perception and limiting ability to understand or decode all this stimulation. And then as what happened is that we get caught up in the web of thoughts. And these thoughts become concept become accepted in a reality, becomes emotions, becomes communications. And next thing you know, you start to talk about it around you. So you're spreading that energy that was spread into the field in the first place. So this is why we see the galactic star masters or the galactic teachers like myself, the advanced Arcturian, the real Arcturians, the real Andromedan, the real Lyrans, the real Antarian, the Venusians, the real celestial beings, the real ones. We come in and we say, allowing allow us to guide you and helping you to unwind these layers of confusion, and then it create cognitive dissonance, emotional overflow. Your body start to create symptoms, and then you don't sleep well, and then you get caught up in a spiral more and more and more. So you are spiraling opposite of your natural light and the natural flow of evolution. And you no longer know what's real, what's right, and you get confused, and then emotion gets it over. So we're helping you to help to create a natural organic reversal of these artificial induced thoughts or concept. And one clear example is the misuse of social media or any form of media network to amplify news or amplify what is supposedly happening. And the best image, the best visual I can give you is, imagine all of us are gathered on the shore on a beautiful beach. And that's easy to visualize. And we're all together on the beach and we're looking at this beautiful ocean. Azure colors, the ocean is clear, and the sun is there. But if you stay on the shore looking on the ocean, all you will see and understand is your interpretation of the surface, what's happening on the surface. There may be speculation of what influence underneath the surface, but you will always going to be able to interpret what's happening on the surface, the next thing we know, if there's 100 people talking about the same thing, you're influencing the quantum field overall globally on the planet, and that story becomes an accepted reality. We say, how about get in the waters with us and make deep dive, go beyond the surface and go into the deep ecosystem to connect with the tranquility and the true ecosystem of that ocean. And you will rediscover a whole world and you're going to go, wow, I had no idea. I was so convinced because my physical senses tells me, or I thought that, and it became part of your reality. And then you give all your light, your energy, your truth, your co-creative faculty, your intuition to that reality. When you step out of what is unfolding on the surface, chaos, separation, conflict, all of this energy we're being bombarded into, you start to step out and you gain a much higher perception. This is what we call activating your field of intuitive perception. And then the greater design of the picture, the whole picture start to reveal itself to you. And that's why we want to invite you to step into more co-creating, observing, manifesting, and holding the space even through the totality of your being. And this is why that reversal of the artificial thought form of the grids on the planet is so important. And that begins with everyone every day. Where are your thoughts? Thoughts become forms, forms become manifestation. That manifestation has frequency that corresponding to that manifestation, and so forth and so forth. So we have to be really mindful in terms of what, how we contributing. And it's the same thing from a galactic perspective. We can see many species or ET or star nations who have gone through so many level of learning, whether it's learning from historical corrections, cultivating, a state of higher spiritual and conscious evolution, rather than investing too much into an artificial way of evolving through technology, virtual realities, and there's a deep disconnection with the true essence of what being a human being is about, or what a Sirens is about, or what an Arcturian is really about, or an Andromedan, and so forth and so forth. I'll take a deep breath here with all of you. Breathe and let everything flow. I hope that makes sense so far. That answers that question for you, Lauren.
It does. Thank you about that. And you said a phrase that I'd like you to expand a little bit more on, because this is what I'm picking up on. And there's some very good questions coming in as well. The reversal of artificial thought forms.
Yes,
Artificial thought forms. So, are we humans creating those artificial thought forms?
we are contributing to it. So that
Contributing.
artificial thought forms is in a sense that if you accept that this 3D linear reality is a construct, it's an hologram, it's a projection that we all abide by, and we have structure behind laws and cultural boundaries and educations, and people are influenced by their genetic memories or the genetic lineage they grew up in, cultural influence, educations, all of it. So if you look at one person, just one person on the planet can generate how many thousands of thought forms a day. Each of these thoughts as a form because it has a corresponding vibration, intentions, seeds of energy, frequencies, emotions. It's all encoded with so much that one thought form has a lot of information in its field. Okay. Like one cell of your body contain the blueprint of your entire body, but combined with trillions, it changed the dynamic of how your body can evolve or disevolve or create stagnations or blockages of energy and so forth. So the reversal of that artificial thought forms, a synonym to it can be a reversal of a thought system. Like, for example, an artificial thought form can be the belief system that I have only have one life to live. I have a past, a present, and an uncertain future. That's an artificial thought form. It's a belief system. Or it's normal for a human being to, when they're born, they have full vitality, they're healthy, and then there's a decline after your age of 40s, and when in your 50s, you become already a dinosaur. And I'm like, I want to laugh so hard about that because it is such an artificial thought form that we come in, we take on, and if it's cultivated that sense and we're so believing in it, well, the body has been so programmed to age that someone at the age of 50 could look like they're already 70s or 80s, or somebody else who was more alignment with the youth vitality of their essence, the spark, the energy, can look like they're in their 30s and their 50s. So I'm giving you a two very relatable examples of artificial thought forms and the reversal of it and how it impacts you. It impacts you also from a subconscious perspective because your 3D instinctual mind, or known as a 3D personality mind, it's brings all of its construct, belief system, reality, how you feel about yourself, how you believe about yourself, your personality, everything. It's fed first through the subconscious. The subconscious is more than at least 88% of all the history, all the building blocks that has been fed to you through
Mm.
stimulation when you were 2 years old, or how you were born, how your mother carried you, how you grew up, the interactions to your tribes. That's your first contact here with the human race. When you went to school, all these building blocks creates thought patterns and belief system that will influence your 3D personality logic mind. And if all that you rely on, well, this is all you know, but you are living into a, how could I say, an artificially induced reality based on these patterns, belief system, whether it's through another example. I have a client, she grew up in Korea, and there was absolutely no room for self-expression. It was about how you perform, be a good student, honor your family, and stay within a certain boundaries. So this is that person, all that she knew up to a certain level. And then there was an awakening, and she was able to release all of these induced thought patterns. And there's a reversal in the subconscious that comes with it. And it's not just the subconscious, it triggers this huge reversal in the body memory field, in your cells, your muscles, your internal organs, how your nervous system behaves, your brain functions, your cognitive abilities, and of course, it expands even in your energy field and your energy bodies, and so forth and so forth. So how about that brings more perspective?
Yes, thank you for sharing that. Okay. And the word egregore comes to mind because that's like an entity from those artificial thought forms. It's all the shoulds in our life, right? Like we should do this. You should work hard. You got to work hard for your money, that sort of thing. So thank you. Thank you for sharing that. All right. So before we get to some questions, let's talk about the protocol for contact because what does that entail? What is the most important aspect that you'd like to get across on this topic?
That's a great question, Lauren. I love it. So first, part of the goal of what we do, I speak as a collective as we because I am an Arcturian being, and I took on this hybrid human form, and the hybrid is my physical body. I'm part of a very advanced, very ancient, and very ascended intergalactic group. We come from a parallel system to yours. So we have evolved over thousands and thousands of years and so much. So that perspective that we bring in terms of what does the word contact means, what does the word protocol means. Remember that all these intricate layers that compose or made out the conscious field of this planet that you're part of, but your linguistic field or the linguistic aspect of it is interconnected to the contact or the communication that comes with it. one of the things that we want to share, and that's part of leading up to the contact part, is that every interdimensional or intergalactic civilizations, those you know or you heard of, and even beyond your field of remembrance, every civilizations or every species have gone through series of historical transformation, learning process, but what's called historic correction. That means we all gone through series of learning from the past into the present, overlapping into the future, because time is very different when you start to step out of that 3D box. You're returning into more universal alignment, universal laws, universal intelligence, balance, and to realize that ultimately, no matter what is your 3D belief or not, you are still part of a very, very vast universal construct. And think of it as a network of intelligence that interconnects everything, every star, every spark of life, every civilizations, every star system, galaxy, constellation, everything. So we have to really first understand where and how we fit with all of it. And it means you fit with everything. How you vibrate, think, feel. Talk about yourself. Talk about your reality. Talk
Mm,
about your loved ones. Talk about your gifts, your heart center affects the entire global synergy or biosphere of this planet, but also you're affecting other planets like in the solar system. The reflection on Mars, the reflection on Mercury, Venus, how the solar energy affects you and how you affect the solar energy. And therefore, we, on the advanced spiritually oriented intergalactic part, your star brothers and sisters, we can see how these energy coming from you because you are an energy being, you're a conscious being, it affect us as well. And so how we respond to you will also create the pathway for that communication or that protocol of establishing more conscious contact. So the one thing we need to clear is some of the pre-belief system about whether it's channeling, whether it's how you're utilizing your intuitive centers, like your chakra system will contribute to that, whether it's how you are listening to others' interpretation of star people. Like, for example, a lot have been said about the Arcturians, but little is very well known. Because in reality, to be able to understand such a very ancient race of light substance based beings that we are, well, you have to embody what it feels like to be an Arcturian, not to talk about it or to channel through. With the channeling aspect, we will also include emotional belief systems, subconscious patterns, filtering system. And there's no exception to that. Everybody on the planet in the human incarnation form right here, right now, with channels have their own filters. So you have to understand that also the way the visual, let's say, being from a sixth dimensional frequency will convey to the channeler, this is what I look like. Well, because of the filtering system and the baseline of your own reference, what you can accept and what is beyond your reach at this point, well, that interpretation will create a visual. It doesn't mean this is exactly how the being really looks like. So when it comes to protocol of contact, we say, clear yourself first from all these preconceived notions. For example, Arcturians, because we're light substance, we have the ability to project our holographic light body consciousness. If we were in a room in our holographic light forms, you will see us just like you see me right now with Lauren. You would potentially be able to touch and will feel palpable to you. That's because we are shifting our molecular density and we are changing our frequency to make it available to you. But if we feel that there's a little bit of resistance, and a little bit of fear. And we can see through your subconscious memory background that if we come to you in a certain color or a certain size or a certain trait that makes you feel more comfortable in your heart, but we may simply adjust our holographic light projection to make you feel comfortable. But again, it doesn't mean this is exactly what we are or what we look like. That's another preparation to help to open the field to your protocol of connections or contact. Let's take a deep breath. Release.
And so then this is a question when we are feeling into energies out there, maybe looking in the skies, for example, how do we know what's real? Or how do we know that's a ship in the clouds and
Yes,
not just our imagination?
love it. Absolutely. That's all part of the protocol of contact. So, what we're doing today, we are reestablishing the meaning of protocol and the meaning of contact. So, whenever you see a ship in the sky, there's a ball of light and it triggers a response through your human body template. The first thing we say is make sure that you stay very much in alignment with your heart without any fear. And right away, take a deep breath through your heart. And what I would like to suggest is connect to the consciousness of that ball of light, that orb, that ship, or that movement that you see. Connect to the consciousness of that intelligence as opposed to the craft or the form of that potential vehicle or that spaceship or that orb or that ball of the light that move in a certain patterns. Connect directly to their consciousness. So remember, it's a higher consciousness. This is you as a conscious human being, as a being of light, as a being of pure light and frequency. You're connecting to another sentient life. That needs to be happen. That alignment needs to take place. That will help you to disengage and clear and cleanse all of your mental field, your third eye, all of your sensory pattern to your intuitive channels that are natural embedded within you. It's going to clear out any preconceived notion that your mind has recorded or registered. For example, you're following someone online and they're projecting certain imagery of what the star people looks like, whether it's an Arcturian, an Andromedan, a Pleiadian, a Venusian. Lots of the imagery are AI based generated. They're just there to stimulate the imagination or it's just an interpretation. None of it is correct, actually. So disengage from preconceived notion and expectation and right away ask. The protocol says, ask, reveal to me your true self. Reveal to me your true aspect. Are you an intergalactic being? Are you an intergalactic vessel? Or are you man made? Or are you earthbound? Because some of these craft, especially in a traditional form, like, like a cigar or a triangle with lights and all of it, those are earthbound. And what does it mean, earthbound? I'll explain that. It's either it comes from some of the star people who have been living on the planet with you for thousands of years, but your government and your military system around the world, they know about them. Some make an alignment or work in partnership with some of these government structures or military structure, and they create craft. Yes, there's some ET technology, but it's earthbound. That could be an earthbound ship. Connect to that. You will feel it each star nation, and I use the word star nation to make feel inviting and warm, each star nation has a very unique core frequency. There's a distinct vibrational signature to them. And when you start to retrain yourself to distinct and to feel throughout your entire body system, you're reattuning yourself to understand what higher dimension feels like because your body becomes more light. You are less dense. You are less prone to be manipulated by your 3D logic mind and its projection or its filter system. And you start to perceive that ball, that craft, or that movement For more on a universal level, feel in your heart, feel in your body, feel in your solar plexus, your center of empowerment in your crystalline core. Reveal to me your true nature. Are you from a galactic? Are you coming from a star constellation? Are you outside of the earth plane or are you earthbound? Reveal yourself to me. It's a universal protocol, and any sentient life or consciousness must abide by that protocol and be authoritative, be affirmative. Not like, oh, I'm not sure. Well, I asked, but I didn't hear anything. When you were not listening to your being, you're listening to fear, energy, or excitement, or doubt, and your mind took it over and filtered out for you. And so you really have to be in alignment with yourself. Fear has no place. Either you connect to fear, which will have little, very little result, or you connect through love. And love as a universal energy will realign the frequencies of your being. Open your heart center to feel that higher compassion for yourself and are helping you to have all of your intuitive gifts present, available to you, whether it's your third eye, whether it's, I feel, I know, it's a clear inner knowingness. I have a feeling in the back of my spine. I have a thing in my solar plexus. There's a knowingness that speaks to me. That's the language you want to listen to, as opposed to mental doubt, uncertainty, and fear-based energy. I hope that I have illustrate a difference here. There's a huge difference. And the more you practice this, the more you're reopening what's called the micro tunnel of communications that you already have. It's natural to the human template. The more you understand the difference about whether it's powder to your eyes, whether it's earthbound, or whether it's a connection that maybe that was meant for you. And if so, what is the message for you at this point? I hope that answered the question.
Yes, it does. I am hearing trust what you get. If we are aligned, first and foremost, that alignment, no fear, as you said,
Mm-mm.
then we shall trust what we get, trusting it. And it's oftentimes the first thing that we get, right? Because do you find that the ego could come in after and start to like rename it or change what we get, right? So it's like we really have to trust what we get immediately. And I'm going to say, we're going to feel that in the body. That's how beautiful the body is. We're going to feel, the heart is going to feel that. All right. Okay. Did you want to add about anything on that? Because I've got my next question then. I'm going to wait. I'll let you respond to anything there that I said, but that's pretty good, right? Trusting what we get.
Well, trusting from a point of your higher self, the higher part of you, trusting to the totality of your being. Because sometimes I can hear too many times, even during, people gathered and want to connect with the star people, and then they have the protocols and all of it, which is fine. It's beautiful. But the pattern we see a lot is there's mixed signals that are being sent to us, your galactic brothers and sisters. And one thing that it will be very important is never expect a human response. And what I mean by that is if you connect to a Syrian who may be familiar with what human beings are, they may be adjusting their response to make it feel more human to you. But if you connect to another intelligence that are non-humanoid, and they have either very little experience to non-experience with human beings, they have no understanding of what you means or your expectation. So avoid putting a human energy or response to the star people, like you talk about the labeling. What is their name? It's very irrelevant to us, we can assure you. Arcturians will never put name to our ship, even though there's belief system out there that some of our ship are called the Athena. And I'm like, what is this coming from? The Greek goddess of war and alchemy or wisdom? Not
It's a
really.
human, I think a human book, right? A human author.
Yes, but again, that is to channel. That's again, it's the channeling information. And I know it's been for a very, very long time, channeling has been a stepping stone to opening ourselves, to reactivating or reawakening very ancient abilities for higher form of higher and multidimensional communications. And we honor that. At the stage of the human evolution, you need to move beyond channeling. It's become very outdated actually, because there's too much factor in of, again, your field of perception, background filtering system, non-resolved emotions, blockages,
Mm,
mental perceptions, global influence, and so forth and so forth. There's too many variable. So if somebody come to you says, I channel a Arcturian and their ship is called Athena, well, honor them, smile, and say, well, thank you for your service. And I want to know, I want to ask the Arcturian directly, is your ship named that? And we said, no, that's a label that was put there to make you feel better, feel more you belong, to feel that you have identified something. It doesn't mean it belongs to us. So that's one thing about is remove labels or the need to label or categorize everything. That's another thing that the galactic life forces remind me all the time to convey to everybody on the planet. Because I'm a bridge, I'm a galactic communicator. So I'm an interface between the great galactic communities and beyond the many councils, various level of councils, and the Earth for Gaia and for human beings and all sentient life on the planet. I'm a direct bridge. And I can tell you there's a lot of requests that comes when I go off planet and communicate with the others. They say, well, humans, when we want to communicate with you, you want to put us in a box, a label, an identity. Well, if you come to me and you say that you are, let's say, from Ashtar Command, well, then the being will be with blonde eye, blonde, blue eyes, and we say, whoa, 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 what is this coming from? Ashtar Command is a collective consciousness. It's not a being. And so this is why part of the protocol of communication, if you see an orb flying in your room, or you wake up and you feel a presence, a light, first of the protocol ask, reveal your true self to me now. Reveal your true self to me now. Say that 3 times. And
okay.
if there's any doubt, you can ask also, are you of the highest light? 3 times in a row, as opposed to, um, are you of the light? Okay, well, that's good. I can communicate with you now. Not
Okay.
really. It's, are you of the highest light? Those are also universal protocol.
Wow. Okay. I hope people are writing that down. 3 times. Reveal your true nature. Reveal your true nature. Reveal your true nature. Are you of the highest light? And say that 3 times.
Yes,
Wow.
your higher
Okay.
self, or you reveal your true self or your true nature. It really allows you to determine, to feel, to all of your internal senses, your
Mm,
body template, your heart's intelligence, especially the heart torial field, this beautiful intelligent field of light around you, to already identify what is the intentions, what is the energy behind it, what is the alignment. It may not be for you at this point, or if you feel that there's a heart desire to connect, but you feel unsure and unprepared, it's not just for now. Just tell the presence, I honor you. I'm just unprepared right now, not now. Thank you. And release that. And if it's of the higher light or enlightened, we will say simply, of course, we honor you, and we will disengage. We will never force communication, never. And yes, yes, my Octran father insists on one more thing, if I may, Lauren.
please.
Thank you. One thing is also very important to make the distinction of through the protocol for higher communications or contact is those of us who represent the supreme source, source infinite. We are of service to the creator. We are of reverence for all life. We're here to help you evolve. We will never, never project any form of, how could I say that, sensual or sexual energy or form of enticing your internal senses that way or to want to seduce you. If there's any form of sexual attraction, right away it's a red flag. Disengage from that right away and say, no, I'm not partaking to that. Because we see other species who, some of them can be neutral, some of them are more like dimensional trickster. They kind of like I mentioned earlier, they like to poke you to see how you respond, and it's fun to them because the energy feels good.
Mm.
And others have other agendas. So any form of sexual attractions, or you feel like there's a sensuality to it and you feel very drawn to them that way, disengage and say, I'm going to reframe that contact without that sexual energies. That's extremely important. We have encountered that so many times and it's still unfolding right now. I have,
What is the point of that? Would that would be other beings that just want to trick us, to distract us, to
yeah,
lead us down the wrong path, to control
yeah,
us? Or,
yeah, there's a lot of them of misleading. Again, some of them can be neutral. They like to poke the bear because it's fun. They want to show how you respond. And if it works, they're going to continue. Some of them are more neutral. It doesn't mean that you have to interact with them. Others may have some initial intentions to supposedly help you spiritually grow, but they have other agenda underneath it that serve their purpose. Whether it's again your, think of it this way, the living aura that you create, this living energy field, the human energy field, and the halo of your heart is of the purest light. And it's very attractive to many. We understand that. The true Arcturians, we understand that. And we want to help you utilizing that pure light for your true evolution, your empowerment, your elevations, your joy, your manifestation. So the earth can finally rise and return to her natural ascended self. We're here to guide you that way. We have zero interest into intimate relationship or any form of lower instinctual form. Others are very interested in that energy because they have along their own history maybe divert away from their original creation, or they have created misalignment or miscreation and they don't know how to go back to the creator. So what they do, they take shortcuts. They go looking at species, especially human beings, with this beautiful halo of light. But instead of understanding that is from a divinity of connections, they want to attach themselves to a more lower instinctual aspect of you. Sexual energies, intimacies. It feeds the need of men and women who feel alone, isolated. They feel love. They feel that this being gets me. I feel drawn to them. Well, it may be part of your evolution to learn at some point, but just understand that it's we offer a much higher enlightened path. And this kind of energy needs to be disengaged. This is no longer where we need to be. And just this is good wisdom. Very few people, very few leaders, spiritual leaders and teachers talk about it. And I was hesitant in my Arcturian self, and my console says that energy must be revealed because
yeah.
this is really good wisdom. And it's all part of understanding the true protocol of establishing a higher consciousness contact. I hope that makes
Thank you.
sense.
Thank you. Yeah, this is very good because, all right, we can be fooled, we can be tricked. It makes me
100%.
wonder about the contact that we've heard in the past where, and I don't recall this book, but like someone having a love affair with an off-planet being.
Mm.
Are those types, is this what you're referring to? I like, so what do we do with that? Or
It
is
can
that
be,
just like a special occurrence?
they are, remember, we are all here by soul connections, and because we're all interconnected, We're an aspect of our ancestors. We're an aspect of our galactic self. We're an aspect of our Lemurian self or Atlantean self. Remember,
Mhm.
we are multidimensional beings. That means that the sum of all of your soul experiences coexist within your DNA, and your DNA become the interface between your human experience and the sum of all of your soul knowledge and wisdom. So depending on the soul engagements or the soul contractual agreements, some some people who return and reincarnate as human beings, well, they may be part of the same collective that they have a relationship with, and they brought in from on the human plane so they can understand what that kind of relation means. That's very different. What we were referring to is within the concept of the protocol of contact. When you, let's say, listening to someone who channel a being from certain dimensions and have certain looks to you, and the more you listen to them, the more you feel there is this, this kind of the sexual attractions. You have to ask yourself, what is
Mm.
it coming from? Is it induced? For what purpose? Or do I have a potential past life memories or galactic memories of this being, what they represent? So you can shed more light on the understanding of what this attraction originates from and how it serves you in this lifetime. This is why the discernment within the protocol, like we talk about the two affirmations, clear the pathway, clear your mind of expectation, release labels, release also limitation of categorize beings by what you think you know or what you read about, and
Okay.
allowing to engage to the fullness of your being. And you will know what is an alignment, what is simply a lesson, a knowledge, it's wisdom earned to lesson learned, and you'll be able to make a difference in recognizing the core frequencies of who's going to come to you next. Believe me, you're going to see them coming miles away, so to speak. For example, because I'm an Arcturian being, I attract a lot of other star seeds on the planet, and of course, of other beings or ET beings who are living in coexistence in this planet and off world. I attract them a lot because they can see in my vibrational field and at the soul level that I am an ET being. I'm simply having a temporary human form. They're not fooled by my physical form. They know who I am. So I have attracted a lot of different beings, including reptilians, draconians, lower astral being, tricksters, time travelers, celestial beings. I
Wow.
have a far vast arrays of interactions with these beings. Every time I can tell if it's a celestial being, there's such a signature, such an energy to them. You
Okay.
cannot mistake them for an intergalactic one. But if it's a being that comes from, I would say, a lower octave of consciousness, they're very advanced in technology, but they're not consciously very advanced. I can feel and see the difference. And so some of them have tried to seduce me, and I tell them, I said, don't, if you really know who I am, you know that it's not working on me. And that disengages right away. And I would say, now let's refresh. Let's go back into universal protocol and understanding what is the contact you want to establish and for what purpose. And if to help the earth to elevate, then you're welcome. If it's not, then I'm going to refer you back to the galactic light forces and they're going to take care of you. So this is an example of how I handle it. But I have to really, even to my human template, trust what I feel in my gut. I can feel in my heart. I can feel it in my spine. I can feel when my nervous system get agitated or I start to, there's a burst of energy coming out of nowhere. I'm going to go, oh, I'm going to listen to that language. What is going on now? Reveal to me the truth or reveal to me your true nature or your true self. What are you here for? And it is good for everybody. This is why I am here in this form. I mean, typically Arcturians, Lauren, we don't take the physical form of another species. We remain into our original self. But for the needs of, there was so much needs for Gaia and everyone. There's so much layers, historical layers and loops and patterns that we felt it was much more effective to send one of us directly in our purest form in a human-like form so I can interact and be on the planet with you.
You're amazing. Thank you. Thank you, Vivian. I know it's just it's a fascinating conversation. So I've got many questions, but let me ask the question of why do I want to know what the Arcturians look like? Because we see many revealed as blue beings or blue rays. And maybe I've seen an image flash of my guide, and I want to call him Nefu, New Earth Frequency Upgrade.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? Is that my mind? All right, we don't have to analyze it, but what do the Arcturians tend to look like? Is it like humans? There's so many styles. Are they of a humanoid? Are they non-physical? Are they
Mhm.
mostly energy?
A great, great question. So I want to go back because what you mentioned about your guide's name is important.
Nefu,
Nifu.
Nefu,
Okay.
Nefu.
So that name that was given to you, if you tune in, Lauren, the frequency match your frequency very well. So that name was given to you to establish a more direct connection, to establish a relationship with your guide. And after time, people will receive names through their guides, whether it's a beautiful intergalactic being, whether it's an angel based being, whether it's an elemental, whether it's even look at the earth. We talk about her consciousness and we call her Gaia. Well, it's the Gaian connections. So she understands, and if we call upon Gaia, she knows that it intimately connects us to her as an intelligent being. So she will respond, she will come. So names, if they're given to you that in that fashion, it means something for you. So honor that. Rather than when you do meditation or you're part of a group or you follow somebody and tells you that the Arcturian ship, sorry, it makes me giggle every time, name after a Greek goddess, you go, okay, well, that's the personal interpretation, whatever that comes from. But you have again, you have to use your discernment with love. The more you are grounded in universal compassion for yourself, you're opening your spite of curiosity to understand where somebody else come from or a name given to you or an experience. Lots of people over the years ask me, well, I've been giving a triangle in my eyes, what does it mean? And I always says that is a sacred geometric pattern language given to you. How does it feel? What does it mean to you? And it's a gift that was given to you. So utilizing your higher senses, your higher mental faculties, open the pathway to let your higher self, your soul guidance to come and show you, reveal to you what is these symbols mean? What does my experience really means? But what if I go do it? What does it mean? Remember that it's given to you. And we're here to supporting that empowerment as opposed to decode everything for you.
Mhm,
We can
mhm.
never interfere in your evolution. That is true empowerment. And this is what we do with any species we encounter throughout the multiverse.
All right, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And it gives us such good wisdom. Again, internally, we know what we know, what we know. We need to trust it and be in alignment. That's the protocol. Thank you for sharing these protocols with us. So I wanted to say, part of me, you've helped me identify and understand that frequency, and you've explained it because there was a part of me that was just thinking I was making it up. But there's a truth to it that resonates very deeply. All right, and this is where we're all going. So you said channeling is outdated.
Mhm.
So what is the next step? Is it this that we're talking about, this communication with the frequencies? Is that is that what you mean? What's the next step? If channeling's outdated, what's next?
Well, again, if you look and we talk about how the linguistic field of this planet is evolving, if you look at just the consciousness overall, how many amazing people on this in this world has awakened through their higher spiritual self, their inner guidance, their connections to nature, the planet, each other, the animal kingdom. We're becoming more compassionate, empathic beings again. How many people have started to awaken to higher reality, questioning their 3D construct or what has been fed into the field? Just the last 6 years alone, from a 3D linear perspective, the last 6 years have triggered such a huge acceleration of movement. This is why we're here having these quantum conversations today, right? Well, it's the same thing with methodology or approach to communicate or re-establish a more direct organic communication system with ourselves, our internal body, your DNA interface. Your DNA contains billions of informations, billions of particle of encoded universal love, compassion that live in your DNA field. Your DNA is that interface that connects you to your soul and the sum of all of your soul knowledge and experiences, this rich archive that we're barely scratching the surface to. So imagining through just accessing to your DNA all this information, access multi-lifetime, multi-frequency in the real time, right here, right now. Everything is there because there's no time. Time is a construct. So the same thing as channeling, we understand that it has served a great purpose, but at this stage of this next phase of natural evolution coming through the planet and the ascension timeline, we feel that we will do a disservice to everyone if we were just to maintain a statu quo or tell you go ahead and channel, because this is no longer where you are re-evolving to. And the protocol, just the few protocols we talked about today, it's guiding you in that new directions. There's so much more. There's protocol to your DNA, there's protocol to clear karmic tie, anything that tether you or hold you back in certain reality or limitations, or the yes but or the shoulds or I will try harder. All these concepts you really need to disengage. And this alignment that we both talk about, Lauren, bring you back to the essential keys of understanding of who you are, the three master keys. That's the foundation of spiritual evolution and the complete self-love. You have to love yourself completely in totality. You have to accept yourself in the same sense. And you have to also have the self-worth to know who you are, your value, your uniqueness. This is how you uncover and tune in to your core frequency. Do you understand what is your vibrational signature? Do you know how we perceive you? We see you more in your true light than you perceive yourself, because this is part of the remembrance path. And that also part of the protocol, the preparation. So, of course, there's so much more. But what we have explored today, it's already pointing you in a direction of what we call re-establishing your multi-dimensional communication ability. Always, that's the baseline, always from I'm a higher consciousness, a sentient being connected to another. And then when you start to see those craft objects coming from the waters, coming from the core of the planet, coming in the form of beings, splash of light, orbs, a fairy energies, a ship in the sky, a star that moves in odd patterns, it makes no difference. It's not about the shape of the forms, it's about the consciousness
Mm.
potentially reconnecting with you. Are you listening? Are you being receptive in that sense? And this is why that multidimensional communication reopened the pathway to return into quantum balance, understanding who you are, be in harmony with your internal universe that will harmonize your external universe or reality. And then beings like ourselves, the Arcturians, who, by the way, who are more light substance than we are physical,
Mhm.
then we can say, allow us to reveal ourselves in our true nature. And the reason of that in our true self is because we're so high frequency being that even though we're here right now in front of you, all you see is the physical human part of the ambassador that I am, this bridge, because my physical human form or template vibrates a lot slower, that allows you to relate, to see, to touch, to hear, and are much more relatable to you. My grandfather is right there, but to most of you, it's an idea, a thought. You would say, well, we believe Vivian, but I don't. But cancel out everything I just said. I don't see it. That's the point we're making. So, how can you visualize or conceptualize or give a physical form to to a being that vibrated such a high level and you have very little knowledge of? It can never be attributed through the mind or a mental concept, but more to the redirections of your heart center, your soul knowledge, and start to rediscover who you are and apply those protocol, and says, from a multidimensional being that I am, now I'm ready to connect with my star family. And it will say, fantastic, we've been waiting for this your whole life. We've been
Mhm.
giving you briefs and insight or hints, and whether when you were a child or a dream or an energy or an oracle card deck, that's just the same message coming back to you, or a sensation, or you've been drawn to someone like me. There's a purpose for all of it. They've been talking with you, waiting for you to step in that multidimensional aspect without any fear. Now remember, ultimately, if nothing else to remember today, is fear and love cannot coexist in the same field, in the same space. So you're either going to base fear-based energy, which brings all of your pattern, mental program, everything, or you choose the path of universal love as a frequency that will guide you to understand ultimately what it feels like to communicate. And that's, I think it summarizes a lot for today.
Yeah, that is so perfect, so beautiful.
Thank you.
And that is an activation of our consciousness. Absolutely. Look at all those hearts coming in at you. Um, sorry if it's distracting. I don't think it appears on the YouTube channel, but it's just kind of fun.
Uh,
So
uh,
thank you. Thank you for playing with that. That's fun. I wanted to say that as we wrap up our conversation, maybe this is a little off topic, but it's relative. What do you think about the movie? Okay, recently our governments, I'll say governments because it's more than, well, I guess the US government and other governments have known about UFOs, UAPs, whatever we want to call them in today's world. But what are your thoughts like? So, what are some of those, and how does that fit in with what we're talking about today? Um, it fits the whole gamut of that spectrum of what we did just talk about, right? There's higher consciousness, but then there's other things going on too. What do you think about that? How does that fit, or what are your thoughts on it?
it all fit with the evolution of your world. I mean, think about it. Look at even back, I would say since the 1940s, the late 40s, with the Roswell crash, it has reintroduced a species that represented from the Zeta Reticuli aspect of the universe. All the gray nations or the variation of grays have been reintroduced to your conscious field, and it's been become accepted, more
Mm,
recognized, almost like a phase that identifies the UFO community. Then from there, there's been lots of evolution, revolution, like 60s, 70s, and then especially in the 70s and the 80s, lots of revelation or disclosure through sci-fi world series like E.T., the extraterrestrial movie, Steven Spielberg, Cocoon, that was another series. Star
mhm,
Wars were reintroducing us to the complexity of the galactic wars and the factions, the confederations, and all of these branches. through fantastical movies, and we love the characters and we fall in love and all these stimulations. Whether it's Close Encounter of the Third Kind, that was disclosure right in front of everybody, but in a media or a form that was accepted. It's easier to go to a movie theater or to watch it on your screen as a replay because you still feel comfortable and in control in your environment. It is still
Yeah.
within the human field, but just that movie, which is a classic, Close Encounter of the Third Kind, is based on a true story. It really happened. There was a civilization and sentient life form civilizations, or let's call them a star nation, we came in contact and there's an exchange for the human group. There was no malevolence. Nobody got killed or manipulated or oppressed. It was an exchange of cultural energy between a star nation and the human race. But that was disguised as a movie. Now, leading up, fast forwarding to today, because you have evolved and you are such on a level of global awakening that the same kind of disclosure or revelation that has been coexisting in either in your peripheral field, I know it, I see it, but I live my life. Now all these layers are coming back together, like almost like a superimposition of reality that come back and say you can no longer ignore it. And so someone like Steven Spielberg, who's been in the field for a long time, or others would say, what can we do to answer the growing energy in the UFO spiritual communities? We can no longer ignore that. And so I always said one thing: there are light workers everywhere in every sphere, whether it's hospital, educations, fire, police officers, whether it's the movie industry, whether it's government officials, military, teachers, they are light
Lawyers,
workers
lawyers. Yeah.
everywhere, right?
Mhm.
So light workers are being activated, called to duty. It's time to reactivate the field. So is it surprising? No, we are foreseeing that. We always knew there was a potential. And you are now in the realization of that potential. But think it, I would say lovingly, take it as another stepping stone of your evolution. And it's going to be more. The disclosure, you are the disclosure. Your own planet history is the disclosure. It's been in the millennia of disclosure. It's just now it's more accepted and talked about than it was maybe 30 years ago. That's all, really.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you for this show today and for your presence. And everyone, thank you for being here too. We're going to be back here tomorrow with you, and that's where we've got some questions coming in. So, those questions that weren't answered today, please bring them tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you. And I thought Vivian's sound was okay, but a couple of people said you could be a little louder. Maybe we'll have you test your microphone on the Zoom panel, but if anybody else wants to say anything about the sound, I did think it was okay on my end, and I think the recording will be good. Somehow Zoom does that. It's amazing. I don't know how it does it, but I think it will show up just good on the recording, so you can come back and watch that. But thank you for being here, everyone. And tonight, let's see, Vivian, I think for those going to the dream space tonight, or in the quiet space tonight, or even sitting outside if you have a starry night, um, try this protocol. Is there anything you want to say about this as we wrap up, and what we can do to connect in that way so that we can maybe share some stories or experiences tomorrow?
I love that. Exciting. And from a technology perspective, we will readjust ourselves from the microphone, but also please check your own device to make sure your volume on both aspects of your on your hand is also up. If you go tonight, whether it's at home, feet on the ground, outside, take the time to ground yourself first and connect with Mother Gaia. Bring stabilization to your body, to your heart. Make sure your heart and mind is in alignment with your body. Take several deep breaths and then feel. Today, I want to connect from a one higher consciousness to another. And Invite your star families. Remember, invite the enlightened beings, those who are spiritually oriented. If they're just technology advancement, it means nothing. You want to connect with beings who can really help you in your resonance, your, to connect with you, to make you evolve, to invite you, to inspire you to be the best, the highest version of yourself. So always take the time to lovingly ground yourself first in benevolence, in loving energy with no fear, and in alignment with yourself, with Gaia, and feel you're expanding your natural intelligence field. Feel like connections taking on. And just invite today, I want to connect with another enlightened being. And I want to connect and remember that connections consciously if I go to sleep and only retain what helped me and served me the most. Remember, it's always for the highest and the greatest good of all. The universe respond to that in spade. And so invite that way and see what happens.
I believe we've already done that and we're making those connections now. I'm actually feeling that myself. So thank you for aligning us like that and giving us that protocol. And thank you, everyone. Please check this out. Awesomeness. Okay, then our show is complete. And before I let you go, Vivian, I just want to say that you've done some amazing courses on New Earth One Network, and there is a bundle, the Higher Consciousness Bundle, Higher Consciousness Activations. That is your special offer, and it's a beautiful collection of the things that you bring, the teachings that you bring, the activations, the holographic activations, all these things, the pineal gland stimulation, and it's there for everyone. These are each 2 hours long, and it is Vivian's gift to you. So check it out, and you can download that. They're all waiting for you, and you can use that at your own leisure. So for tonight, we hope that you stay in this alignment and make that connection with higher consciousness. And we'll see everyone tomorrow. Sweet dreams, beautiful hearts. Thank you all for being here. Vivian, big hugs to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Namaste. Bye-bye.
This has been a presentation of New Earth One Network, your home for New Earth living. Access information, education, and videos on living from the heart in unity consciousness. Visit newearth1.com.